What's up guys, welcome back. OCG Metagame Breakdown for January, well, 1st/2nd, 2018. This is the new OCG format since again a couple of weeks ago the OCG list got leaked, with Ancient Fairy Dragon banned, Spyrals was pretty much the best deck from past few months we saw from the OCG, and finally their ban list somewhat solved their problems. I'll come back to Spyrals in a couple of moments, since even though Spyrals got that huge hit of, both level 1 monsters, the quick fix and the drone, both to 1, the Spiral field spell, Spiral Resort also to 1. Even with those kind of restrictions in the new OCG format, Spyrals still managed to top one of their, at least some locals over there. Since again, this is pure local based, since it's not really nationals format, no big tournaments yet. So again, still a local tournament. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at Road of the King first. He updated his website, his page yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Again, based on about 66 deck lists from about 10 tournaments held between, the 23rd and 31st of December 2017. Since again, I have been watching, the OCG tournaments on Ready for Duel, Carloncho store as well, Italian Yu-Gi-Oh, the Facebook pages also posting up a lot of lists, so again, all the lists, etc. Props to them for putting them up. It makes work much more easy. The new product releases, as mentioned as well, is a new V-Jump promo for Trickster's Carabane, I believe it's pronounced, my apologies if it's not correct, the Premium Pack 20 and the Link Vrains box. First of all, Road of the King, his website, again, Metagame Breakdown for that, or at least for his particular analysis. The general conclusion, and that's not only on his analysis, is also from other tournaments, is that the OCG metagame is super diverse, and that's, like very much different compared to their previous format. As you see here on this particular picture, is that throughout the year 2017, there was like Zodiac for a couple of months, Zodiac variants, right, and then it was like a Void with dinosaurs being like the top deck, the true King Yangzing version, but then came Spyrals as a second, pretty much the second tier 0 deck from that particular format in 2017. But now it's like, well, it has been December, very early January, and look at that, like all the diversity between like every deck, every picture posted here from that particular deck can top. Well, we see Crystal Needle Fiber, but again, as we see the deck lists here, like Crystal Needle Fiber is such a disgusting card, and pretty much every deck is running that particular Link monster. So again, back to Road of the King, the analysis. For the percentages, it seems that Magicians is the most represented deck, and that's something we also see in other tournaments, that Magicians is somewhat of the most represented deck. Well, it's pretty much like the five quote-unquote top decks currently in the OCG. There is not like one deck that's like that big above the other decks, too big for the competition. That's not the case, but it's like 5 big decks and then a lot of other decks. Magicians, Zephyrs as well, Burning Abyss of course, still very much alive, Tricksters, and then a new deck into the new Link format, and it's Plants. Link Crow, however you want to call it, right? Also the FTK of course, but I'll come back to that in a couple of moments. The first list here shown here is Pendulum Magicians. Pendulum Magicians using the Supreme King variant. It has been popular, right, past few weeks and months in the OCG. Again, its biggest strength is just going first, establish your big board, especially thanks to the heavy metal foe, the metal foe Link monster Electromite, the double Irish Magician, searching out the Chronograph trap card, still such a disgusting card as well, and yeah, that's a bit surprising for me, is that one of Astrograph Sorcerer in the main deck. Well, you can eventually search it out with your Electromite, so that's understandable, since again a deck is, at least this particular list, is also running 42 cards. A Clash of Draco Rivals also nifty again, seeing some competitive play, but not too many differences. Again, a lot of hand traps, right? And then as for the rest, yeah, pretty much you know, standard Pendulum Magicians. And then the second list, Zephyros, again, has been going strong. It's like a continuation from previous format with, you know, Spyrals completely dominating, and the fact that, you know, Yang Zings and Zephyros can pump out such strong boards thanks to, you know, Danglong is still legal in the OCG. But again, that's pretty much the trump card of Zephyros, is pumping out such a strong board first turn, backed up with, you know, 9 pillars of the Yang Zing and Zephyra Divine Strike. And let's not forget, Zephyros do have the opportunity or the possibility to play during your opponent's turn with something like TG Wonder Magician. Well, every deck that can make Crystal Needle Fiber can have this access to, you know, Formula Synchron, TG Wonder Magician, and yeah, play Synchro Summon during your opponent's turn. Baxia as well, for specifically for Yang Zing. The fact that you know, you can play during your opponent's turn is also quite strong. The third deck is a deck that's not going to die out even into the new format, right? Well, in the new OCG format, that is Burning Abyss, you know, with Cherubini, the new Burning Abyss Link monster, and also Crystal Needle Fiber. A lot of hand traps still. That's somewhat of an anti-meta deck with one of Tour Guide, but triple Maxi, triple Ghost Ogre, triple Reaper. Triple Ash Blossom, and yeah, that's a very nice deck. Well, can I call it a deck? Anti-Spell Fragrance, again, a very nice choice in today's new format, at least for the OCG, against Pendulums, right? Zephyros and Pendulum Magicians. Yeah, Anti-Spell Fragrance still is that very strong card. And then another hand trap that's popping up not only in this particular Burning Abyss list, but in other lists as well, is the new hand trap. The card is called Contacting Sea. It's very similar to Flying Sea, but the small difference is that Flying Sea can be used to summon Cherubini, and Contacting Sea isn't. At least it's not able to make your Cherubini. And, you know, pretty much both Flying Sea and Contacting Sea have the same purpose of, you know, dropping it to your opponent's side of the field and let those Burning Abyss monsters destroy themselves, right? So, Burning Abyss. Tricksters, again, pretty much the same, right, as the quote-unquote old format for the OCG, also one of the current top-tier decks in the TCG as well, with, you know, Scapegoat's definitely the option here. A lot of hand traps, that's not going to change. They do have access to the new Trickster Carabine. Again, I hope I pronounce it right. It just gives you your Trickster deck more options to deal with, you know, big monsters, big threats from your opponent, and that's also one of the reasons why, you know, what is it called? Eater of Millions is in the main deck scene for us TCG players. It has been popping up for us TCG players as well. The Mirror Force, definitely interesting to deal some more burn damage to your opponent. Second place Trickster list, by the way, here, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or at least top 16. Anyway, the last list here mentioned on Road of the King is Plant. Again, Plant has been gaining a lot of popularity. You know that even though that Dandelion has been restricted to 1, definitely a good choice. Lone Fire has been semi-limited for the new OCG list. So Plants did lose some consistency, at least for the FTK, you know, with the Amaryllis FTK Topologic Bomber Dragon, you know, burning your opponent to death during your first turn. That particular FTK lost a lot of consistency, but even though, you know, there is still, at least for the Plants, it's like a mishmash between, you know, those engines, Armageddonite, Destrudo, the Predaplant engine, Lone Fires, etc., right? And then the Black Ring Tuner monster, the Tact in Spiral Super Agent is quite nifty here as well. You know, a lot of engines together just to pump out those link boards, right? And if you can't get your FTK going, it can just, again, pump out those strong link boards and strong link monsters. So, it's a threat, right? But again, Maxi is at 3 in the OCG, and as we saw from all the lists here, everyone and their mother is running like multiple hand traps, so that somewhat keeps this deck in check. That's pretty much it for Road of the King. He also mentions that evenly matched and cards like Darkhold, you know, those Mass Destruction cards are gaining popularity. Same for Anti-Spell Fragrance, Unending Nightmare for a good reason. Same for Typhoon, you know, hitting those Pendulum monsters, those Pendulum Scales. And also evenly matched because cards like Set Rotation has been losing popularity. And again, you know, set rotation very good against evenly matched. And then some other deck lists from, you know, the Facebook pages, some other results here, for example, another tournament, the pie chart, again, diversity. And, you know, a lot of people like diversity, but again, there are some people who don't really like diversity. One explanation might be for the side deck, you know, against which deck, at least against which decks you want to side deck against, right? If there's like so many decks you have to side deck against, you can only side deck 15 cards, right? Then for this particular tournament we saw Tricksters, again, pretty much the same list if I'm not mistaken, right? A lot of hand traps, that really doesn't change. And then for this particular tournament as well, we see that, yeah, strange hero deck, 60 cards, triple mind control, a lot of engines, right? With heroes, Tricksters as well, evenly matched, slept in this particular 60 card deck. Strange list, by the way, but again, it topped, so it's somewhat holds up, right? Another particular tournament in the OCG, again, a lot of diversity, but it's pretty much the same top decks that, you know, gain some more popularity. It's Burning Abyss again, Zephyros, Magicians, Tricksters, and Link Blend. Blue Eyes as well, we see Blue Eyes popping up, I believe here. This should be a Chaos Max variant. I believe it was first place at locals, at a particular locals in the OCG. Quite interesting. Again, Grinder Golem was put to 2, not to forget, but it's still quite popular in the OCG, as we saw from the Spiral lists. Let's take a look at Spyrals here. Yeah, again, double Grinder Golem in the mid-deck, so Spyrals are still managing to top, even though, you know, Drone is put to 1, Quick Fix to 1, the Spiral Field Spell to 1, the deck still manages to top the tournaments and to top locals. Again, if there would have been like bigger tournaments, more prestigious tournaments, it's not really sure if Spyrals would hold these particular tops and statistics. So yeah, Spyrals. We also see like Dinosaurs, also with True Kings, of course, but also with Shadows has been well, not really too popular, but this particular list was able to, I believe, was it first place a particular locals, not really sure, but I think so. Seems like a mishmash again, but quite strong as well with that Overtax Quetzal, you know, that new, quote-unquote, new dinosaur that can negate stuff from your opponent. Subterrace has been getting some local wins, but it's not really, well, it's like more of an anti-meta deck using the Guru control pretty much, right, with Subterra Fiendness and yeah, the Subterra Archer, but pretty much a lot of hand traps, Eater of Millions if preferred, but still it's pretty much like a heavy anti-meta deck. As for the rest, yeah, we saw Burning Abyss popping up for the good reason, like still a very big anti-meta deck. Gem Knights as well, the Meta Knights we also saw popping up, but it's still very vulnerable to disruption, somewhat weak. Monarchs as well, again, Monarchs got Pantheism back, well, back to 2 in the OCG, and you know, Stormfort is still at 3, Aether still at 3, so the deck is almost at full force for the OCG. So that's quite nifty to see that back. Okay, that's it again. All the sources will be in the video description. Guys, that's it. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.